everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today's video is my second trimester update video. Now, if you haven't already seen, I have done a first trimester video, so go and take a look if you haven't done already. And I will also be filming my third trimester video. Now, as I'm filming this, I'm actually in my third trimester. I am 32 weeks pregnant. So I've really had to pick my brains about the things that happened in the second trimester, and luckily I wrote some notes too. So this is my second trimester video. I'm very out of breath, so you're gonna have to bear with me. That's something you'll hear about in the third trimester video, I'm sure. My lungs are squashed. I'm very unfit, and I'll do a little, she's big. By she, I mean me. Because also, I don't know if I would have said it in my first trimester video, we are having a boy. So I will be referring to him. Anyway, let's get into the video. Okay, I'm gonna start by going through some of my physical symptoms that I experienced in the second trimester. Now, as I've said, I did take some notes. So if you see me looking down, that's why. I had actually forgotten about quite a few of these, which is so weird because when you're in the second trimester, well, no, not even just the second trimester, when you're living it is everything. And when you look back, you're like, oh yeah. So, first one I've written down is about these. They were no longer, and are no longer painful in my second trimester. Now, in my first trimester, I couldn't touch them. I didn't even want to look at them. I did speak about this in my other video, but oh my good Lord, they were sore. I'm so grateful that that has vanished. I do get a little, you know, blip here and there, but nothing like the first trimester. However, my God, they have, I'm literally going to say tripled in size. I went bra shopping once. I think that was in my first trimester. They obviously went. Then I went bra shopping again. They've gone now. I mean, of course, like I've said, I am in my third trimester now, but not to give much away, I've gone bra shopping for the third time. We are in extra large, Primark, comfy, non-sexy underwear. Sorry, Jack. He doesn't care. I think he was just sick of me moaning, to be honest. Another symptom that I experienced was, of course, my bump popping. Now, in my first trimester, I would say I had a little bump, but it really just looked like I was bloated. It wasn't obvious that I was pregnant, and thank goodness, because we hadn't told many people anyway. I was kind of able to cover it with certain clothes, but in my second trimester, you could see that I had a bump. Obviously that got bigger throughout, but yeah, there was definitely more people that noticed I was pregnant, and I felt a little bit more confident that I looked pregnant and didn't just look like I'd overindulged, which I definitely had done as well. So half of my bump probably was the food that I could now eat. That's another point, because my nausea went. That is dead and gone, thank the Lord above. My first trimester, I was never actually sick, but the nausea really took over, especially with certain smells, or if I thought of certain foods like avocado. That was it. I felt like I was going to be sick. Thank God, second trimester, that vanished. Obviously, I'm speaking from a personal point of view. I don't know if that happens for everyone. I also didn't just wake up on the day of my second trimester and all of these first trimester symptoms had vanished. This happened over time, but the nausea, thank goodness, it's gone. You can stay in the first trimester, and I just hope it's not coming back and I can't breathe. Just thought it was worth adding also, while we're on the topic of nausea, there was a couple of things that helped me. I was snacking little and often on plain foods. So I had crackers, I had, this is so boring, plain rice cakes, just kept it plain, biscuits. But my friend at work also told me that before I even had mentioned to him that I was pregnant, he had a feeling, because he could see the food that I was eating all the time, trying to keep it quiet in my office. So that was a giveaway, just bear that in mind. But yeah, that really helped. And also I avoided, it sounds really obvious, but I avoided like spicy foods or drinks like fizzy drinks, orange juice, anything that it just didn't sit right in my belly. So I kept it simple. If you're going through that too, give it a try if you haven't already. I'm sure if you're going through it, you've probably exhausted all of the options like I felt I had, but just wanted to add that in there just in case. A symptom that really took me by surprise, and I'm actually still experiencing it now, unfortunately, is dizziness that leads to panic, almost a panic attack. Now, I'm never actually getting to that point, and thank goodness, because that's something that I put to bed when I was about 16 with hypnotherapy and a lot of things. We won't go down that route today. But the dizziness that I started to experience, it wasn't extreme, but the second I acknowledged that I started to feel dizzy, my brain went into, and still does, go into panic mode. I can't explain. If you've ever had a panic attack, you'll know, but I feel like I'm going to pass out. There's nothing that I can do. Well, that I found, any advice is welcome with open arms, please. Yeah, there's nothing that I can do that makes it shift. I just have to really talk myself out of it. It's really up here, the way that I get myself out of it, and just think about what's around me. What am I actually doing? You're not going to pass out, Jade. You've had this before. This will pass. Make sure I'm topped up on water. If I need to sit down, I'll sit down. But most of the time, I can talk myself out of it. And I've really noticed that it is if I've been standing up for not a long time, but sometimes it's even like 1 minute solid doing the washing up, or especially standing in a queue. I now think I make it worse because I tell myself it's going to happen when I'm standing in a queue. Therefore, when I'm standing in a queue, what's happening? I'm sweating. I'm going to pass out. Please just serve me first. It's not great. My blood pressure's fine, by the way. Midwife does all of those checks, but yeah. I'd say that was one of my biggest struggles in the second trimester, and unfortunately, at 32 weeks, it still is a struggle. Now, one that probably won't come as a surprise to anyone, because I feel like everyone who is pregnant, has been pregnant, what am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say. Has experienced the exhaustion. Now, I was so exhausted in my first trimester. I just felt like I was walking and daydreaming. I was going to bed super early, and this really carried on, I'd say until about week 16. And then all of a sudden, this burst of energy came back, and I felt like I was this pregnant girl who could do anything she wanted to do. Let me clean this, let me go here and buy that. But those weeks from the first trimester into week 16, did I just say? Tired, so tired. I was going to bed 7:30. I was literally coming in from work, eating my dinner, sitting with Jack for about 10 minutes and going to bed. So that did carry on into my second trimester, but not for long. The energy came back. Now, again, I don't want to give anything away, but might have changed for me in my third trimester. I might be spending a lot of time in this room, exhausted. I'm very sorry if you can see that I've changed positions. I just had 2 batteries down me this morning, so that probably means I'm rambling on. But before my battery cut out, I was talking about my favourite symptom so far, and that is definitely the baby moving for the first time or feeling those little kicks. And a lot of people have described them as flutters, but for me, I definitely wouldn't say it felt that way. It felt more like gas bubbles, like you couldn't determine if it was like wind or if this was the baby like giving you a little tap. So I think I started experiencing those around week... No, I'm not even going to guess it. I can't remember when I experienced those. But my first proper kick was the most magical thing. Don't get me wrong, it really took me by surprise, and at first it scared the out of me. But I was laying in bed, as I've said, I spent a lot of my second trimester in here. So I was laying in bed and I just felt this, I don't know if I can explain what I felt. I just felt what I knew very clearly was a kick. And it was like I'd forgotten I was pregnant. I was like, for that split second, what the hell was that? When I realised it was the baby, just the cutest, most magical thing ever. And I called to Jack upstairs. He came running, but obviously he wasn't going to be able to feel the baby yet. But it was just, yeah, the loveliest thing that happened in the second trimester, and also that happened for me on Mother's Day, which just feels like the stars aligned. And he was telling me, "Hi Mum, love ya." So yeah, second trimester, favourite symptom was definitely the baby moving. Now, I always thought that I was a big water drinker, and that meant that I was going for a wee a lot. Pre-pregnancy. Second trimester weeing is... I almost was in disbelief and like telling my brain, no, you're just making it up, because obviously I'd heard so many times that when you're pregnant you wee all the time. So I was like, no, it's probably just like my brain making me think I need a wee. No. This is where it really started towards the end of my second trimester. Getting up in the night, constantly needing a wee. And I'm talking like 5 to 6 times in the night. That was like a... I'm going to say a really annoying symptom. I'm very grateful to be pregnant, of course, and I feel bad using terminology like annoying, but it is annoying, especially when you share a room with somebody. I'm pretty sure I annoyed Jack too. And also working in an office and constantly having to get up and go to the toilet, which is downstairs. It's not that fun. So yeah, second trimester, the end of the second trimester is really where, I don't know if he's bouncing on my bladder, there's pressure on my bladder's being used as a trampoline. This hasn't stopped, by the way, it's still carrying on into my third trimester. I'm sure it's not going to stop for the next 8 weeks. But yeah, the weeing. I thought people were exaggerating when they said they weed all the time. I can confirm they're not. Now, I am not going to call this part my cravings, but the only way I can describe it is like, this is where I got my intense need for certain foods. Now, I've always been a person that if I want something, please, can we go to the shop? Can we get it? I need a McFlurry on my period. Come on, I'm going to die if we don't have it. I've always been that way. And I can't say that I've really experienced cravings in my second trimester, or what people say, you know, like they really had to eat what's a weird craving? Pickle on toast. Like, I didn't have any of that, but the food that I did fancy, you know, at lunchtime or just whenever, I needed it. I really needed it, or I couldn't stop thinking about it, but I didn't feel like I would die without it. And the foods for me were, well, food, this drink, Dr. Pepper, became the absolute love of my life. Now, don't get me wrong, I did still have it in small doses because it's not a healthy drink, obviously, but oh my God, an ice cold Dr. Pepper. It was just fantastic. Now, that was closely followed by cereal. My need for cereal with ice cold, not ice cold milk. How do I explain this? Just cold milk and cereal. I'd have it for breakfast, lunch and dinner if I could. It really did something to me. It was fantastic. And then another weird one was, I did mention this in my first trimester video, about how much I really wanted to eat seafood. Now, I'm a vegetarian and I've been a vegetarian for 5 years. So this really took me by surprise. God, there's going to be many people watching this video that are disappointed in me, but I did have some seafood. I did. If you haven't been pregnant before and you're watching this judging me, you just wait. When you get something in your head, it doesn't shift, and maybe I'm weak. I don't know, but I did have a prawn or two. I'm sorry. So I don't know if that makes me a pescatarian or just I had that and now I've restarted being a vegetarian. But I had it. It's done. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Now I'm going to try and tell you about this one without salivating. Dribbling. Because this is still present and very much existing in my life right now, and that is my need for damp flannels. The smell, the taste, the texture. I'm just obsessed and have been obsessed since my second trimester with damp flannels. My friends have bought me flannels. I go to sleep with a damp flannel. It's just everything. Now, my midwife has told me that I've got pica, which is an eating disorder, but it's not, how do I say it? It's not anything that's like serious because I'm not digesting the flannel. And she has tested me for deficiencies. So it's not that. Some people just crave food, some people don't. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of people who crave coal or sponges. For me, it's flannels, and flannels till I die. Also, I'm sat opposite my ensuite and that smells like damp flannel. So even right now, it's just like overload. I love it. Love ya, flannel. So they were my physical symptoms, and there's just been so much that, I mean, I feel like I've laid out all the weird and the wacky annoyances and symptoms, but I've actually, and I still am, just loving pregnancy. Just like I said, like feeling the bump move and finding out what we're having, and Jack feeling certain movements and just being a part of it is just so magical. And I actually am one of them annoying people that are enjoying pregnancy. Obviously it comes with its struggles. But side note, I feel like my second trimester is really when other people started to get involved too. And it's almost like when you're pregnant, you've got something on your forehead that says, give me advice or tell me about your traumatic birth. That's been the biggest struggle for me, worse than any symptom. It's people trying to get up here and tell me about their near-death experience, or their child hasn't slept since birth and they're now 16. That's hard. So if you're one of them people that do that to pregnant ladies, just try and have a little think, because we're already emotional. It's already a little bit of a struggle when you're tired. you're ready for a fight. But yeah, more than any symptom, that's been the hardest part. So just a little side note, please don't say any of those things to pregnant women. I've also been uploading a lot of content on my TikTok about things like this, and actually it's been doing really well. I'm very proud of my TikTok at the moment. So if you don't follow me, then please, I'm sure there'll be a link below, Jack. Go and take a look at my TikTok. I've had so much engagement with other mothers and expecting mothers, and yeah, I'm loving it. So yeah, if you haven't checked that out already, then please go ahead and do so. But I think that rounds up my second trimester in short. Obviously it's about 3 months long, so they were just the main things that had happened to me. I hope that this video has been either relatable or able to help you understand what to expect, or just maybe you're just here for the ride. I hope you enjoyed it either way. I have got more videos planned. I've not been great on my YouTube channel, but there are more coming. So if you haven't subscribed already, then please go ahead and do so. I'll be very grateful to have you on this little motherhood journey of mine. It won't all be baby content, so don't know what I'm saying. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. A moose, not a whale.